Hi, I'm Dan, and in this video I'm going to start showing you some of the very first steps in doing some scripting in Blueprint classes. In fact, I'm going to talk about events primarily. So the situation that I've got is I've got a third-person template map here. I've got a Blueprint class that I created previously, and inside this class we have a static mesh, which is a couch. We've got a particle system, which is our fire effect, and we've got a box collision or box collider surrounding it, which when you look in the editor you can see, but when you play, it becomes invisible. So, scripting. One of the most powerful things that you can do with Blueprint classes is to add your own behavior. We'll go back into the editor here, and mostly we do that in the thing called the event graph. Now you'll see inside here there's these boxes. These are boxes in Unreal scripts are called nodes. And these have names. This one says EventBeginPlay. This one says EventActorBeginOverlap. And this one says EventTick on it. So, what's happening when the game's playing is that Unreal, the engine, is doing all sorts of things to do the rendering. There might be all sorts of other things going on behind the scenes. You might have artificial intelligence that's working away. You've got the character that you can control in this particular situation. But at some point, you're going to want to do some customization of what's going on there. And the way that this happens is that you effectively interrupt the flow of what's going on and make it execute your own scripts. And this is done using a paradigm called event-driven programming. So what's happening is that your script will be sitting and listening for something in particular to happen. And when that thing happens, it will pick up and it will run the script that you've got. So event nodes are nodes in your scripts that are triggered at the point where that particular event happens during the execution of the program. We'll demonstrate one of these. So the first one of these is these are grayed out at the moment. These are 3 standard events that are available to use. And the first one, event begin play, you might be able to imagine quite easily that this gets triggered at the start of the game. So when the game starts playing, it triggers this event. Any scripts that have the node in are then said to be listening for this event. And when that event happens, they will pick up and interrupt at that point and run the script. I'm going to demonstrate this happening. We're going to just drag out a wire. I'm not going to spend time explaining nodes and wires. That's for a separate video. And I'm going to just type in the string. So one of the most useful nodes for debugging is this print string node. And I'm just going to, so I've just clicked on this thing here, which expands the node to give me more options. I'm going to make it 10 seconds instead of 2 seconds. And I'm going to change the text in here. So again, I didn't want to spend ages on nodes and wires, but when this node is executed, it then passes execution along this white wire here to this print string node. So I'm going to compile that, and I'm going to show this in action. So I claimed that this happens when the game starts. So I'm going to click play, and in fact we can see up in the top left corner here, the word start has appeared in blue text, and that's been created by that node. Okay, so we'll stop execution. Go back into our script here. The second one I'm going to show you is EventActorBeginOverlap. So this is the script is part of the Blueprint class. The Blueprint class has several elements in it. We'll go back to the viewport. One of which is this collision box. And what the collision box is going to do is going to detect if any other objects overlap that box. And if it does, you will then get an event which is ActorBeginOverlap, and it will do it to this particular, connected to this particular object. Okay. So once again, I'm going to do a print string to demonstrate the use of this. Print string. And I'm going to get it to say hot, because we're approaching a couch that's on fire. Just move that out of the way. So let's see what happens. Compile, go back, run. Our start text has appeared. I'm just going to full screen it. And as I approach this couch, the word hot appears. So this has been triggered when the actor, which is the player, is another object, starts to overlap this collision box. And if I move back again and go back again, it will trigger it again. So hot, hot, over and over. Every time you start overlapping that collision box, that event is triggered. Right. Go back into the editor. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to bring up another event. So those three standard events always appear in your event graph. But there are more events as well. And the one that I want is ActorEndOverlap, which does the opposite of ActorBeginOverlap. So this happens when an object leaves the collision box. Once again, we'll get print string. And I'm going to get it to say few safe, because you've got a safe distance. Okay. Well, let's test it out. Right. We've got the start text up at the top left as we that script is still there. Hot, yes. Few safe, yes. And, capital on the H in few, but never mind. So that's working as we should expect. And just to show some of the behavior here, I'm just going to put a second instance of my blueprint in there, in that world, and show you that it triggers for both of them. So both instances have the same script attached to them because they're instances of the same blueprint class. Right, the last event that I'm going to show you in here is the EventTick. So Unreal Engine is rendering frames that you look at. It's every time it displays the screen, there might have been things that have changed on screen, and that's how you get the illusion of things moving. It's a bit like a very fast movie in that sense. And every time it has rendered a scene, it then produces a tick event. So this event tick happens at every frame. Now, one of the issues that you have when you have a tick event like this is that the frame rate might change. And so you need some way of knowing what the frame rate is. And the way that Unreal does this is that it passes some information as well as triggering the event. It is going to tell us how long it is since the last tick event. So it's going to give us this delta seconds gives us the fraction of a second it is since the last frame has been triggered. And once again, I'm going to do a print string. But I'm actually going to take that delta second, so we're going to see that and just plug it into the string. Don't worry about this conversion thing that's happening there. So this is going to start to dominate our text over on the left-hand side, because every frame we're going to get this reporting back, because this event is happening every single frame. And we'll go into play, and I'm not going to go full screen. You can see there on the left-hand side, it's consistent at 0.0167. If I can see the flick there as I do the hot and the few safe, but it's going past so fast because that channel of text is being spammed with the frame rate as we go through. Or we could actually, if we're using some math nodes, we could use some maths and work out what actually the frame rate was from that tick. So, in summary, we have done a quick look at first starts in some scripting for our Blueprint classes, and we've started talking about events and how the events are triggered, and we get these red nodes which are responding to these events that are being triggered inside the Unreal Engine. That's it from me for now.